Hello, my loves. It's Liz Ann here from High Vibes Life. Welcome back to my channel. So we all have those times when we feel like we're going along just really well, and then we just start feeling all stagnant, and all those old icky feelings start coming up again, and start feeling depressed and unmotivated and wondering, what am I doing wrong? I thought I was doing good, and I'm back where in square one. And we feel frustrated and don't know what to do about that. Well, first of all, I want to say that we are not going backwards. We are not back where we started. That is impossible. You've gained the ground that you've gained, and you're not going to ungain it. But life is ebbs and flows, and we have to remind ourselves of that. However, even in reminding ourselves of that, sometimes we still feel pretty just stuck, and it can feel frustrating. So today I wanted to hop on here and give you 5 ways that you can start today to get yourself out of the mully drums. I think that's what it's called. Anyways, those icky, stagnant places. 5 ways that you can do that starting today. So stay tuned. Number 1 I'm going to give you is something that I give you probably in every video, and that is to journal. Get a notebook, a spiral notebook, okay? And just something cheap and a pen that is easy to write with. And in the mornings, first thing when you get up, just start writing in that notebook. Date it, don't reread it, don't read back on the old ones, just write, brain dump. Write everything that's on your mind. Some of the things that might get you started, if you're just like, I have no idea, is just like starting off by naming your 3 things that you're thankful for that morning, or writing a little bit about a dream that you remember having, writing things that were on your mind heavily the night before and are fresh on your mind as soon as you wake up. Just start writing and dumping it all out. Do a good brain dump in your journal. And then when you're done with that, take a moment to do a meditation. So when I say a meditation, I'm saying sit still and don't think. The reason I suggest this in shifting things is because when you brain dump, the first thing you're doing is you're getting all that stuff out of your mind and clearing it for the day so that you can think clearer. So one of the reasons that we do get stagnant, if you think what stagnant means, it means, okay, you have this pool of water, right? And ideally you have a stream of fresh water that's coming in and a stream that's going out and letting out the old water, so that this pool of water is always fresh and renewing itself. And so you want to think that about your life. You want to think that you have something fresh and new coming in and something old going out, and then you have this pool of water that's always refreshed. But if you constantly are pulling in all the chitter chatter and that's all you're focused on, what it is you're taking everything that is on your mind and you're damming up both. You're putting dams on both ends of it, because you're just right here in all the chitter chatter of what is, what's bothering you, what should be, what could be, who said what happened, what's going to happen, what's going on in our world, blah, 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 blah. And it's just chitter chatter, chitter, chitter, chatter that you just go over and over and over like a mouse in one of those wheels. You're just going over and over and over and over these things, and you become stagnant in those thoughts. And remember, thoughts are the beginning of our creation. So if we want to create something new and, continue to create, we need to be able to have clear thoughts. We need to be able to have new thoughts coming in. We need to be able to let go of old thoughts that we really don't know. We've already worked that out. We don't need that anymore. Or it's just not something I want to think about anymore. We need to be able to let go of old thoughts. So thoughts are so important. And one of the most powerful ways to release thoughts is through writing and through meditation. Number 2, if there was one thing in your life that you could change today, so even say you had a wish, think of this as your genie wish. You had one thing, that major thing that you could change in your life today that would have the biggest impact on your happiness and your overall well-being. What would that be? Really think about this question. For myself, it was my health. I don't have a lot of energy and I get tired easily, and I have some health issues that are coming up, and I'm realizing more and more all the time that when I don't feel good physically, it's hard to feel good emotionally. It's hard to have motivation. It's hard to want to do anything because I lack the energy. You want to ask yourself, what does that mean, my health? Because remember, you can't just say, well, I wish that I had better health. What do you mean by better health, right? Does it mean, for me, that meant that I would lose some weight. I would have a lot more energy. I would just feel good. I would have no pain in my body. So I would feel light and energetic and pain-free. And so find that one major thing. It might be money. It might be the location of where you live. Maybe you would change, neighborhoods, but make it the most important thing. And the reason you want to do this is because this is going to become your new focal point. Okay, so once you have decided what that number one major change you would choose, if you could just snap your fingers and it was done and it would make the biggest impact in your life, what would it be? Once you discover what that is, then you want to begin to implement a plan to bring that change about. And I would suggest starting with 3 things that you could do now. Like for myself, I thought I've got to make sure I'm exercising every day. I decided to cut my portions in half and to drink more water. Those were the main 3 things that I decided to work on towards better health. You could add other things as well, but name 3 that are non-negotiable. So out of self-love, out of getting out of this place of stagnancy in your life, these are going to be non-negotiables for you. These are going to be things that you are going to do, and there's not going to be a maybe or I'll try. This is what I'm going to do, because I recognize by virtue of answering this question that this is the most impactful thing I could do for my life right now. The third thing that I would suggest to shift yourself out of this place of stagnancy is to find something every day that you do regularly and do it differently. Do something in a completely different way than you're used to doing. Now, this has a lot of benefits. It's really good for the brain. It exercises the brain. It breaks up starts to ripple the waters again. So if those waters are just sitting there stagnant, it's going to start rippling things up again. And it sometimes helps feed new ideas into, like, we'll do one thing differently and then it makes us want to do another thing differently, or it brings fun into the equation. So it could be that perhaps you have your biggest meal at dinner time. Well, today you're going to have a big meal at noontime and you're going to just have a snack for dinner. Or it could be that perhaps you go a certain route to the store, to work, and you're going to go a different way, go down a different block. Some of the things that I have been implementing lately is hairdos. I've been looking up tutorials for retro hairdos and trying retro hairdos, and then actually taking pictures of it when I'm finished and sharing it on my Facebook. You could do your makeup differently. You could use a different color than you ever did. Sometimes I'll put a brighter lipstick on than I've ever wore before, because I just thought, oh, that's just too bright. And just for fun, I'll just put that bright lipstick on and then go out with that on. The other day I did my retro hairdo, and it was one of these ones that had the big curl right here and then the bow, and it had a big bow up here. It was hilarious. And my daughter said to me, I showed her, and she goes, oh, that's real pretty, Mom. She said, you should do that for Halloween. And I just cracked up. It was hilarious. And so I went out that day with that big bow in my hair, and I did get a few looks, but it was fun to change things up a little bit. Perhaps you'll make a new and different meal that you've never made before. Perhaps you always, have a certain coffee when you go to Starbucks. Try something different. Just change something up than what you normally do. Number 4 is asking yourself, what could I do today differently than I did yesterday that would help me feel better today than I felt yesterday? And this doesn't matter how you felt yesterday. So perhaps you felt really good yesterday. You still want to ask this question, but maybe you didn't feel so good, and this will be very enlightening for you. So one of the first things that I answered when I asked myself this question is I could drink more water, because I tend to get very dehydrated. And so I thought I could drink more water today, and I would put ice in it and some mint leaves in it to make it really fresh. And so ask yourself, what is it that I could do today to help me feel better than I did yesterday? Maybe I'll sleep in an extra 10 minutes or go to bed an extra 15 minutes early. Perhaps I'll take a nice warm bath with Epsom salts in it, where yesterday I just took a hurried shower. Perhaps I will do my nails that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I'll sit down and paint my nails, and I wanted to do that yesterday. I think it would make me feel better if I do it today. Perhaps it's I'm going to eat healthier. I ate pretty crappy yesterday, so today I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to make a big salad for lunch today. Just what could you do today to help you feel better than you did yesterday? Ask yourself that question, and then find an answer that you can easily implement into your day. Now, number 5 is the big one. And I feel like this is going to be so important. It's something I used to do. I started out doing years ago. And I decided this week when I was trying to get out of my own stagnancy that this was something that I need to do for myself. And that is make a date for yourself every week. I know from a lot of people you're going to say, I can't do that. I don't have time for that. I've got kids. I've got work. I've got this. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough that. But the problem with all those excuses is every time you make those excuses, what you're doing is you're putting yourself back on that back burner. You're depressing yourself. When we take time to do something for ourselves that we love to do. So when you think about it, you want to think of your inner child, almost like, what would that inner child be excited about doing? When you make this date with yourself, you are activating your creativity. You're pulling yourself, you're turning the engine on the boat in your life of stagnancy. You're turning that engine on and you're going somewhere. You are actually moving yourself forward. You're propelling yourself out of the stagnancy. This is your motor. This is the thing that is going to, if you can get faithful to this one thing, to yourself, you are going to have something big bagged in your life. So make a date, a weekly date. So at the beginning, like on a Sunday or Saturday, take time to think about your week ahead of time and to take your calendar, to think about what you want to do, to mark it on your calendar, and to plan your date with yourself. And this has to be entirely by yourself. So this is not a time for friends. It's not a time to bring hubby, not the dog, nobody along with you. This is simply for yourself. And this needs to be a minimum of 2 hours going out and getting out of your normal routine and having a date with yourself, getting to know yourself. You know, when I go to a store, like I go shopping and I bring somebody along with me, it's a distraction. Because I could be looking at something and then somebody else is over here, go, oh, look at this, and look over here. Even when I'm out in nature, I've noticed that when I'm with other people, they either want to talk, and so I can't really tune into nature like I really want to, or they're constantly pointing out things they see, and I do the same thing. Look, that's beautiful, or whatever. We do that to one another. So I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying that's what happens. And so we again start tuning in, even with a dog. When you have a dog on a leash and you're taking him on a walk, you're tuning into that dog. Oh, the dog needs to stop and pee. Oh, the dog wants to smell around here. Or the dog just pooped and I need to pick it up. Or he's going too fast and you need to slow him down. It's about the dog. The date with yourself is completely about you. all about you. It's taking that inner person inside yourself and getting excited about going and looking at something, doing something, being somewhere just with you. And you're able to tune in and to fine tune more of who you are and what resonates with you and what doesn't resonate with you. It's so important to take time to be alone with yourself. So some suggestions is you could take yourself out to eat. Where's a place that you've always, maybe a new place you wanted to try, or a food that you love to eat that nobody else in your family usually loves to eat, or that you don't usually allow yourself to go do because maybe it's a little bit pricier than you would normally pay, or whatever, but there's something that you really love on the menu, or you've really wanted to try the restaurant. You could take yourself out on a date to a nice restaurant. You could go to a movie that you want to see, something that you just know you would thoroughly enjoy, and you do not have to worry about whether somebody else next to you is enjoying it as well. You're just going to sit down, buy the most buttery popcorn you know how to buy, or whatever you enjoy, and you are going to enjoy that movie. If you're somebody that one of your biggest changes you want to make in your life is you want a new home, you want to live somewhere differently, maybe it would be time to take yourself out on a date to browse neighborhoods and to look at homes. Perhaps it would be to go look at some model homes, or maybe you love decorating your house. That's one of the things you enjoy doing. Maybe looking at model homes for ideas. The first date that I've taken myself on since I have decided to begin again my weekly dates is I went to a used bookstore, one of my favorite places to go. I go a lot with my husband and my daughter, but it was really fun to go by myself. Again, just to not have to worry about, my daughter gets bored when we're there. She gets done really quickly and she wants to go, so I'm got that in the back of my mind while I'm trying to look. And then a lot of times I'm done earlier than my husband, and then I have to kind of wait and browse. And it was just nice, just browse, be there by myself, go as long as I wanted to go, leave when I was ready to leave, to sit on the floor and look at books and thumb through things and not be distracted by worrying about other people's needs around me. Another thing that you might do is take yourself out on a romantic picnic at a park or at the beach or somewhere that you love to go, and literally take a nice blanket and maybe a nice drink that you really love, and make it beautiful, make it pampering, make it fun. Bring some pillows, bring your favorite book, and go sit and eat cheese and wine or whatever you want to do, and feel the romance of the waves splashing at the beach, or the ducks on the pond, and being there with pillows and blankets and yourself and the birds, and just enjoying yourself without the distraction of having to worry about and feed and think about everybody else. It's just you and yourself. Browse a boutique that you love. I love going to Hobby Lobby. That's one of the fun places for me to go because I like crafty type things, and they have a lot of ideas for home decoration. If you love being pampered, maybe take yourself out on a date to get your nails done and to get your hair done, or get a facial, to get a massage, whatever it is that you love. But this is my biggest suggestion for you within the 5 ways to unstick yourself or to get unstagnated in your life, is to make a weekly day to take yourself out. Be committed to yourself. Be committed to your self-love, because that is foundational to your happiness. Everything else is going to depend upon how you feel about yourself and how you treat yourself consequently. Have a good day.